All right, let's have a look at natural gas again. I covered this in the video earlier, but not in detail, so let's have a little closer look here on the NYMEX day chart. So it's clearly bullish. We gapped up above the 20 and the 50 period moving averages, and now we've moved above the 100, that's this grey one here, and the 200 period moving average is just above us at 2.46. It looks like we're trying to reach up there, and that would take us to the top of this rollover gap, where we gap from 2.15 all the way up to 2.5 something. So that's to be borne in mind. Remember, it's a rollover gap, not a price gap or a weekend gap or anything like that. So although it's significant, it's perhaps not as significant as a proper price gap. Now I've got these lines drawn in here, which I had drawn in from a few days ago. This green line takes us up towards the top of the gap and the 200 period moving average. I think we can just draw this a little higher up to the 200 there, and that would take us to 2.46. Let's call it 2.45. We're currently at 2.25, so just 20 cents higher. Now 20 cents doesn't sound a lot, but when you're trading around about the $2 level, it's actually 10%, so it's quite a big move. So I'm a little stuck now because we were short yesterday. We dropped down to the support level, bounced up again, and then today we just rallied a little higher. I was short from 220, and after we bounced up from the bottom, I got out at break even. So I think we're going to go with this, except I'll add one more thing to this chart, and that's another line. And I'm going to complete this path from this move down, if we should perhaps get there first. So let's do something like that. So now we've got a sort of a zigzag diamond pattern all over our charts, but that's okay. So that's the kind of thing. So if we get up to 2.45 or 2.5, I'll look to sell there. But if we get down into this region here, either the top of this gap at 1.9 or the bottom of this gap at about 1.83, notice that the 50 and the 20-day moving averages are down here as well. With a bit of luck, actually, we'll hold above the 20-period moving average on this day chart, and that would keep us above the sort of 1.8 level, but below 2. So it's probably an ideal buying zone to look at. On the other hand, if we keep on moving higher from here, which looks like we might do, then I'll consider selling at the 200 period moving average around about 2.45 to maybe 2.55, just a little bit higher. We've also got further resistance above us at this sort of swing high here, and that's at about 2.85. I don't think we'll get there on first attempt. Let's look at the 4-hour chart and see if that gives us any better clues. So that was the Henry Hub over at the NYMEX, and now we're going to the Black Bull Broker 4-hour chart. Look where we are. We're just below this rising center line of the channel. So we sold at 2.2. And we got out at 2.2 10 candles later. That was just a few hours ago. We are above the 20 period on the 4-hour. We're above all the moving averages, in fact, and still looking quite bullish. Now let's have a look at where those gaps are. And I'll just draw a horizontal line here to represent that 2.45 sort of region, something like that. And if we scoot out on the 4-hour chart, you can see it's a previous resistance and support level going back quite a long way. So we can see a little bit more detail on the 4-hour chart, and this gives me a little bit more confidence that this level is quite significant. So around about 2.45 to 2.5, maybe 2.55. So in order to get into the short from 2.45 to 2.55, or to get into the long from 1.9 to 1.85, somewhere in that region, I'll be watching the 4-hour candles for reversals. So we've got to get higher to the top of the channel around 2.45, or we've got to get lower to the bottom of the channel at around $2, 1.9, or even 1.85. For now, there's nothing to do. I'll be watching the 4-hour chart. That's this chart right in front of you at the moment. And I'll be looking for reversal candles like one up, one down, engulfing candles, piercing patterns, spikes, and chart patterns like triangles and wedges, channel reversals, head and shoulders, expanding patterns, or megaphones. So I'll be watching this very closely, candle by candle. And if you're in my private group, of course, you get the alerts. And if you'd like a little bit of extra inside info, you can subscribe to this channel or even join the channel. There's a link below. Take care.